Hello and welcome to the GMS Magazine channel. I am Paco Garcia and this is Tycho, and today I have with me two different little things, a Villagesong and our mundane supernatural life, a storytelling game of leadership and change, and a storytelling game of extraordinary daily living. This is something I backed in Kickstarter for the astronomical amount of 35 Australian dollars, which is quite frankly, considering what I've got, peanuts. They managed to get 55,000 of those Australian dollars to get the whole thing sorted and funded, and this is where I go. But has this been worth the amount of money that I had to back to get my hands on it? Welcome to the GMS Magazine RPG unboxing videos. These two little things, jewels I have in here, have been produced by an absolutely fantastic indie company called Story Brewers. And the idea is to create a story where you are the leader in an island and relationships are going to become strained. You're going to have to be dealing with all sorts of happenings going on, but also relationships can be mended, which is quite interesting. I haven't played the game yet, but how actually is it what I have in the box? Well, the box is just a standard tarot size box, beautifully illustrated, I have to say. The illustration in the cover is just absolutely gorgeous. So pretty and beautiful in every single angle. That is just totally delightful. Inside we get a little rulebook, the cards, and a token. Let's take a look first and foremost to the rulebook. Okay, so the rulebook fits in the box. It is very nicely laid out, considering the size it has. Everything is set in the right place. Everything is pretty easily explained. They have used the space quite wisely, which is nice. And you get your you get to this in the back. Cheat sheet. Sorry, it's hard for me to pronounce that. No kidding. So there's only one thing though that I'm a bit about, and it's the fact that in order to play the solo game, you have to download the rules using scanning this QR code, which although is a very clever use of the technology, but I also think that if a game is meant to be played solo, I want to see the rules here. I don't want to have to scan anything to get something that should come naturally to the game. This is my only complaint about this. That it's nice that there is a reference to a how to play at the beginning, which is quite cool, and I have watched the video and I strongly recommend that you take a look at it. But if there is a solo game, then tell me. Don't make me have to go and look for it because I may not have a battery or may not have coverage. I would have rather have seen it here. There's a token that comes out easily enough, and it's just a player token, first player token, and who is running with the round. Now, for the meat of the whole thing, we get several cards. We get the cards for the End of Rebellion, the Feast. These are cards that we're going to create a deck with, and we're going to place them at the bottom. We get some player reference cards, which is very nice to have, both-sided. The material is very good, by the way. I would still want to sleeve them, and I hope once I sleeve them they're going to fit in the box, although I have my doubts. But they're very nicely printed. We have the change cards, and these are the events that are going to make things change throughout the game. More change cards. Then we have the leaders, and we have the relationships between the villages, and last but not least, we have the islands. Now, as you can see, and I have gone through them very, very quickly, there is plenty to love about the illustrations. Every single one is fantastic. Really cool, full of flavor. And on the back of each one of these, you're going to get a description and then some decisions that you have to make. You can choose certain things about your leader, like your pronouns, or your backstory, so on and so forth. But the basics are indeed covered, which is very nice. The same goes for each island. Everyone's being illustrated. All the illustrations are just so gorgeous. And in the back, you have all you need in order to start playing. The kind of relationship cards, they are double-sided for one very good reason, and is that when the relationship is okay, they are all green and nice, but when the relationship becomes strained or broken, then you turn them around and you get some of the consequences of being broken. Some of the consequences is that you cannot go between villages if the relationship is broken, so there's a very serious effect of this going on. The change cards are going to give you all sorts of information. All sorts of it. You are not going to be short of what's going on. And each one is going to give you two choices that you can go with. And depending on how you go, you have to describe what are the consequences of those choices and keep playing as to what happens as and when. And they are going to put a strain on relationships, so on and so forth. So these are the components. I don't want to do an in-depth review because I haven't played the game yet. I've only taken a look at the rules and the video, so I'm not going to go into how it plays. The one thing I would say though is that it is likely that watching the video and reading the rules, it may make this be or look more complicated than it actually is. So there's an awful lot of things to do in the game throughout the game. So don't be put off, because I reckon that this is the sort of thing that once you've played once and you get used to the mechanisms, the whole thing is just going to flow quite easily. So don't be put off by the number of things that you have to do, because they're all very simple. Right, the second box, which I believe it was something that was unlocked with the amount of money that they got, which is wonderful, is Our Mundane Supernatural Life by V. Hendro and Hayley Gordon. Again, an absolutely beautiful cover. I mean, this is just so joyful. It's so beautiful. So beautiful. I just cannot imagine anybody looking at this and not feeling, oh, this is quite nice. I mean, yes, I can imagine people without a soul saying that. But everything else is quirky, it's whimsical, and it just looks adorable. Oh, and inside we get more things. We get a caltrop, aka a D4. We get a little pen with an eraser, which is quite cool. Oh, not one, but two pens with erasers. We get 2 tokens. And rules. Let's look at the rules. Let's do this. Let's look at the rules. Okay. So, rules which I haven't looked at, by the way. This is the first time I take a look at this. Again, you get a QR code for the video, which is quite nice. And I, again, highly recommend it. They are very well done videos. Very well done. And then we get the game overview. Same layout as with the previous game, which is nice. and it feels like it's a different game altogether. It's got nothing to do with the previous one, so okay, so I got 2 games for the price of one. I'm quite happy, and I have to say that this, I just look this kind of cutesy little game, so I can imagine that this is going to be really good fun and whimsical. So I'm going to be honest, after looking at this, I'm quite looking forward to this game more than Villagesong. So okay, I'm kind of excited. I like, by the way, as you can see, that they have labeled the boxes with numbers 1 and 2. I hope that means that they're planning on making more, because that would be pretty awesome. Because these production values, even if it's just as a collector, I would be very much up for it. So, okay, now how does one open this, which has been very tightly wrapped? Okay, this is a game in on itself. This should be a job, opening game packets, because it does require some skill, I tell you. Okay, I managed to do it, I think, yes. Done. And then we get, oh, this is tasty. This is tasty because these are laminated cards with a number of days. So we're going to be playing 3 days, evidently. The names of our characters, XX, what are you doing today? Then we get little stars, little hearts, 1 cross only. Okay, and I guess that we're going to be just writing down what it is that we're going to be doing, and there will be some rules as to what happens when we do what, which is great. And because they are laminated, I can imagine that what you can do is to write on these and erase very well indeed. I am mighty impressed. No smudges, no trace of the ink on the card. This is, oh my goodness, amazing. I love that. I think I'm gonna geek out a little bit over this. I'm liking this. For 35 Australian dollars, I really couldn't be any happier. This is amazing. So I'm very much looking forward to playing this, assuming I can find some people to play with, because I know that some people will go, it's just, that's how they sound in my head. But I'm going to try and find people to play this with, because this is going to be super cute and super adorable, and I like super cute and super adorable things too, you know. It's not all, you know, destroying civilizations in my role-playing games, or, you know, hunting shoggoths and stuff like that, which I tend to do. I like that. Is it worth the 35 Australian dollars that I paid for this? Good grief, yeah. Absolutely, yeah. There is nothing about these 2 boxes that I haven't liked, other than the QR for the solo mode in Villagesong that I wish had come in the box already. But apart from that, this is a 10. This is a solid 10. And I would love it if you could point at me at some stories that have been created with any of these 2 games, because that would be amazing. Thank you very much indeed for watching, and until the next time, I will talk to you very, very soon. Take care.